Hey guys, it's Erica. Okay, so I'm going to do a video right now that I've been dying to do forever, but I haven't done it because I don't, you know, I know I could probably take a lot of heat for this, but it doesn't even matter because I have to get this out. All right, I'm going to talk about what is wrong. Like one of the things that perpetuates just unhealthy, distorted aspects of relationships. And that is the show The Bachelor. Now, I'm sure many of you guys, of course, don't watch it, or maybe you're forced to watch it with your wife or girlfriend or sister, whatever. But we have to talk about this because it's one of those things where I have so much to say, and I probably should just create a totally separate channel for this, but I have to say it here because what is wrong with that show is it perpetuates the distortion. Okay. And I'm going to start off by saying I watched this show. I've watched it from the beginning because I actually was, I lived in the same dorm in college with the very first Bachelor. Okay. So I was interested to see what the heck this guy was going to do. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's going to be, what's this show, The Bachelor? Anyway, so he was a friend of mine and rather more of an acquaintance, but so I watched the show. I think it's fascinating to watch people, to watch people's dynamics, and also fascinating to watch how the show has evolved over all these years. So there's so much I could say, but I'm just going to leave it at this. The reason that show is so unhealthy from the standpoint of modeling healthy relationships, which we obviously know it's not. It's a TV show. I mean, clearly, I know that it's not meant to be, this idealistic thing. It's supposed to be entertainment. But so many people buy into the BS. Like so many people think and they get so sucked into the show like, oh, isn't that so romantic? And look, they're so in love. And arguably, there have been many couples that have come out of that show. So there's, it's not all bad or wrong or anything. But what it does that's wrong, for example, I got to tell you, I just watched the recent series with Clayton. And I was watching it and it was so fascinating because there was a scene at the end, towards the end, where he basically falls in love with 3 women, sleeps with 2 of them before he figures out, and then the third one he was gonna go on the last date with, the overnight date, and she just basically said, no, I'm not into that. If you've already done that with the other women, whatever. And you see this guy who, of course, has been putting on the charm and saying all the right things and being this romantic guy and supposed to be a good guy. And the next thing you know, when she basically says this to him, and he's so taken aback and he acts like a total crazy person. He was called on his crap and he didn't like it. He thought she would just accept it, that he was going to do this, and he turned it on her. He started acting like the distorted masculine. It was so uncomfortable to watch because I was like, whoa, that turned really quickly. Which is why in relationships, guys, the rubber hits the road when there's conflict. The rubber hits the road when there is an issue. It's so easy to fall in love at the beginning. It's so easy to get caught up in hormones. It's so easy to get caught up in the idea. Everyone's putting their best foot forward. And on the show, it showed how quickly he exposed who he really was in that moment when she put up a boundary and he didn't like it. And, it's one of those things that as a mom, I'm a mother. And as a mom, I've actually watched this show with my daughter to help her see what people say isn't always what they do, and they could be they could be charmer, and she sees through the BS, no problem. Like, I'm not worried about my daughter. She's got a really good head on her shoulders. But earlier on, I was showing her the show a little bit, like we'd watch it together so we could talk about it. And anyway, she doesn't need to watch it, but the point is, there's so much unhealthy examples of relationships, but people really buy into it, and they really look for this, and they think that this is what love is supposed to be. They think this is what relationships are supposed to be. And it's anything but. It's anything but. And again, there have been some couples that have come out of it who are married, happily married, have kids. I mean, it's great. All the power to them. Who cares how they meet? But it brings up all the distortions. And so I think my final point on this is, okay, I have to add this too. Okay, not that I would ever do this, but I've always said this. If I was ever to go on The Bachelorette, what I would do to really suss out who my partner would really be is I would have a few ground rules. I'd first of all, no making out. Number one, no interrupting. If someone interrupts a date, they're out. Like, I'm like, no, I'll get to everybody. If you interrupt somebody, I can't stand that. So that would be one of my ground rules is no making out. Not that that's for a variety of reasons, but because that's where everyone gets all messed up, is like they just go to that right away. It's like, I'd rather get to know somebody without that at first. No interrupting, no making out. And you know what else I would do? I would also have a rule of no running and jumping and putting your legs around the guy. I mean, it's like ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And no ridiculous stunts coming in. Just walk in, introduce yourself. None of these come in on a horse. None of that stuff, because it's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And if you watch back at the original Bachelor, somehow you can watch it. It's like no girls are gussied up. They're kind of dressed normally. There's none of this stuff. They don't even know what they're doing. But now it's like it's obviously a franchise. How many 20-something seasons? Anyway, I'm going off on this show. But I had to come on and say that if you are with somebody who genuinely falls for the romantic storyline of that, there might need to be a little bit more growth. Like, I watch it with an open mind of it's entertainment and it's funny and it's hilarious, but there are people that really get sucked into it. So hopefully I'm at least, you're probably like, yeah, I totally agree. Or, oh my gosh, you're totally ridiculous. I don't care. Whatever it is fine. This has been weighing on me for so long. And when I saw Clayton do that, again, I'm not in his shoes. I'm not in the moment. I'm not meant to critique that other than from the standpoint of, as a person who teaches about relationship dynamics, that was all unconscious shadow wounding energy coming out. And the way he handled it and the way he turned it on Susie and the way that she was just like, what? It just was horrible. Horrible, horrible. Anyway, I guess that's my point. Hopefully this was entertaining at the very least. I don't know how informative it really was, but it's just something I had to come on and record. So anyway, until next time, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps other people find the channel. And until next time, bye.